What's it called? What's the channel called?
Journals and Journeys.
Hanging out at Journals and Journeys.
Hi, welcome to Journals and Journeys.
Well, looks like we're here again, another Friday night, another review, but honestly, how could I not? There's so many amazing songs that dropped today, or like videos and everything. It's been a crazy release Friday, honestly. It was so hard trying to decide what I was going to review because I only have a limited amount of time available, but definitely who took the win today were Halflives. I'm super excited that they brought out another song. Their single's called Villain, and honestly, the aesthetic change they had going on their socials, I mean, I was 100% here for it. You know, like, if you've been on my channel before, you know I'm a lover of aesthetics. That's also one of the reasons why I adore Vukovi, because they're so good at it. And Halflives, same thing. Like, this single has like the coolest artwork and like the color scheme and everything. So exciting. And I mean, musically, Halflives, you can always rely on them like putting out something really good and really amazing. And without further ado, I'd say let's just give it a first little spin. This is giving me like mafia, old mafia film vibes. Yes. You know what? This kind of, like, the picture that suddenly comes up in my mind is like this really kind of speakeasy kind of bar. It's like everything's really dark. Maybe there's like a little cigar fume like in the air. Everything's like a little heavy there. You have these big leathery seats, and then kind of like Linda strutting onto stage. Kind of cabaret a little bit. I don't know if cabaret is the right word, but I'll try find a picture of what I'm seeing in my mind. But this is kind of like very like sultry. I love it. So catchy. Wow. I take it back with that 40s cabaret. This is like a whole different world now. This is like a little more like futuristic electronic drop thing going on here, but that's so cool as well. So catchy. Ooh. Ooh. That guitar distortion though. Whoa. Evil laughter much? Super cool. Like, I love how the atmosphere of that song completely changed. Like, you heard me talking about like this 40s kind of cabaret, kind of bar speakeasy place, and then suddenly it just becomes like this really like electronic, almost a little futuristic, and we have this really cool guitar tone on there. We have like a real kind of villain electronic laugh, like a which I can definitely not do, but that was cool. Wow, okay. Despite the fact having the lyrics like right in front of me, to be honest, I wasn't paying that much attention to the lyrics because I just wanted to get the vibe of the song first. Sonically, I feel like this is kind of a little bit of Fugitive meets Hard to Break meets Snake. Kind of elements of these songs coming together in a very fresh form. So definitely cool. Loved that one. Well done, Halflives. And before I end this video, of course, we are going to be diving into the lyrics just a little bit because I love doing that. So I did just pull up the lyrics on Genius, and some of them that are in there aren't 100% correct, I think. But we do have the video, so we definitely have the lyrics there, but I find the actual font is... Oops. I find the actual... Whoa, my fairy lights are just flickering, and this is... Wow. Oh my god. I feel like I'm having a stroke. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the font is kind of a little difficult to read sometimes. So yeah, I'm going with the Genius version right now, and then like looking up the occasional lyric or two. But for an overview, I think this is probably pretty good. Once again, I have my little sticky notes right here. Just jotted down a few thoughts. So let's go through this bit by bit. In the intro, we basically already start out with the lyric that's repeated the most, which is maybe I'm a villain too. And here we kind of set off with this idea of having a sense of shared guilt. There is a shared blame. Instead of pointing fingers and being like, you're the villain, it's all your fault, you all fucked it up. It's like, maybe I fucked it up too. Maybe I'm not the good cop here. Maybe I'm the villain as well. So from that, we go into verse 1. What I think are like key words for verse 1 are place of gold, reliving deja vus, can't look back inside your heart, sea of knives, pretending to be alright, can't look back inside your heart. Basically what I feel like verse 1 is talking about is like these golden memories, reliving the past. Like we sometimes glorify the past even if it wasn't that great. And like this reliving all our deja vus. There's like something very haunting and something very weird about deja vus sometimes. So this is kind of picked up in the sense here that it's almost a bit like uncomfortable when it hits you out of the blue. And there's definitely the strong imagery with sea of knives and can't look back inside your heart right now with the two. Together, there's this strong imagery created that just, it makes you not only feel, but it makes you see the heartbreak. Sea of knives, like, that just sounds like pain through and through. And then of course we have something like, I'm pretending to be alright, like putting on a smile, putting on a positive face, even though that is actually not what is in your heart right now. Yeah, from there moving on to pre-chorus, which is, oh, I can't look back at you, so back at the person, but also can't look back at the memories, back at what happened. And then enough to the chorus. Sorry. I'm getting a little hyper because I'm a little tired, so sorry if I suddenly come up with all these weird voices. That is just what happens. Apologies. But for the chorus, we kind of have this idea that's picked up again with maybe I'm the villain too. The sense of, oh my god, this flickering is so annoying. Whatever. With the shared guilt kind of thing, because it's you put me through something, but I put you through something as well. We're kind of in this mess together. We are both the source of this mess. And there's also like this sense of I'll do to you what you did to me kind of thing. And then it's the I'm the villain too. It's not the maybe, it's I'm the villain too. Maybe I'm the villain too. It's like this yes, no, kind of also struggling to accept guilt yourself. Being like, am I responsible, am I not responsible, to what extent? Yeah, like verse 2 is like a little messed up in the lyrics here. So I'm just gonna basically talk about the general idea I got from the second verse, which is definitely a sense of being each other's downfall, being toxic for one another. But at the same time, there's kind of the sense of being drawn to the chaos, like you can't really escape it. And that is something so fascinating about human nature, because sometimes we will consciously gravitate towards things that are not actually good for us. And we know they're not, but we still go do them, we still stay with those people. Like, human nature, humans don't make sense. And then there's also the your heart, my heart kind of play. Once again, going on the each other's heartbreak, not just from one source. There's like this duality of conflict, of like heartbreak that is kind of wrapped in these lyrics, and I think that's so interesting, like that they're really picking up the two perspectives and not just blaming it on one source. Okay, so for the bridge is absolutely beautiful, so I do really want to read it out real quick. You're the thorn on a rose and you make me bleed. So first of all, definitely this is tied to the single cover and to the little artwork they had in the lyric video as well, where you have like the two hands and you have the rose and then like the thorns around it. And there's like, this illustrates the beauty of pain, or the beauty in pain, painful beauty a bit, because a rose obviously is something very beautiful, and especially a white rose, almost something pure, but then through the thorns that are like wrapped around the hands and thorns that are there, it's still painful and it will cause you to bleed. And your scent is a poison I like to breathe. This is also really interesting because the scent, obviously following the rose, you have the association of a rose smell, which is something comforting that you might associate also with something romantic. But then at the same time, it's like the poison I breathe. So it's definitely highlighting the toxicity again of this other person. But through the I like to breathe, it's picking up the that you don't like try to push away this toxicity. It's about the whole thing again. Like, we know we are not good for each other, but yet we are drawn to each other, and yet we give this a shot. So that's a beautiful lyric, I think. These two first lyrics in the bridge, they're like, I absolutely adore them. I think they're one of the best ones in the entire song. And the lyric that they missed here is something with, is my deep void or something like that. The voice is basically causing you to become weak, to fall into this, maybe fall into old habits, fall into a dark past, fall into another person once again, because their voice draws you back in. And then towards the end, we just keep on repeating the thoughts of, maybe I'm a villain too, maybe I'm a villain too, like, I don't want to look back, and then it's also my fault. It's kind of this really strong internal conflict that also comes through for me in this song. And then at the end, we have the duality highlighted again with the, after all you put me through, but then also I did the same to you. It's like hurting each other back. And then at the end, finishing with the lyric we started with the maybe I am a villain too. I think this is such a genius way of approaching the idea, the topic of a villain, because this whole of not only being good and evil, because especially if you talk about something like breakups, or a lot of times in songs when it's about heartbreak, there is this one villain and there is a hero, or like a victim that has been harmed by the villain. And here it is kind of stepping out of that role a little bit and also trying to see if there's some guilt lying with you. And I think that's a really interesting concept, and it kind of softens this whole image of a villain. And at the same time, there's such strong imagery in the song that I just want to know the story behind it. You know, I just love me my stories. So thank you, Halflives, so much for sharing this with us. And I mean, I can just say, I know whatever you put out, again, it'll also be incredible, be amazing. And I really hope that next year, all fingers crossed, 2021, I'll finally be able to come to a show, because I'd love to. Sadly, COVID stopped me this year, but not next year. I promise we'll somehow make it work. And yeah, until then, very excited to see what else you put out there. Sending much love your way. Stay healthy, stay safe. And to all my viewers, just hit me up with song suggestions. Let me know your thoughts on the single. Let me know your thoughts on Halflives. And I hope to see you in another video. Alright, goodbye.